Alrighty then. Hello YouTube, my name is not the Prime Minister, but you can call me Josh. I guess that's like my screen name, but um, yeah, welcome to my YouTube channel, not the PM. And today I thought I would do something called a video log, which is basically something that's unscripted. Basically me talking at the camera or to you, the audience, for around 5-10 minutes per video. This is my first shot, so it's not going to be anything fancy, but I thought, since I'm about to turn 20 next month, I'm currently right now 19 as of recording this, as it's February of 2026. I turn 20 next month, and I realized to myself that when I turn 20, I want to set myself 20 goals that I want to accomplish in 20 years. So that the time I turn 40, I would already hopefully have achieved those goals. And one of the goals I have in mind, that I want to start on my 20th birthday, is basically creating a video log series of my life and talking right in front of the camera. I might seem a little bit nervous now, but hopefully I'll come more accustomed to it. So I thought to myself, why not start this goal early? And, instead of waiting until next month, my 20th birthday, I just start right now, which is what I'm going to do. And the first thing I want to say in front of you, the audience, is you remember those times where you hang out with friends. You go to the shopping center, you walk out on the street, and there's like more than two of you. Let's say there's 3 or 4 people in a group. And when you're walking down the sidewalk, you can't walk directly next to 2 people, if you know what I mean. The sidewalk's only big enough for 2 people. And this is something that's been on my mind, is that whenever I walk around with my friends in the city or whatever, I can't walk by them and have a chat. I either have to go in front or I have to go right at the back and speak to another person, or just walk by myself. Every time I try to walk beside them, there's always an obstacle, let's say a lamppost or another human being coming towards you, and you got to move out of the way. There's simply not enough room on that sidewalk for 3 people. And, I've always experienced this first-handedly, but isn't that just annoying? Like, you're just sitting, I don't know, talking next to John or whatever, just walking down the street, and you got to constantly dodge obstacles. You got to constantly dodge the flow of people, and you end up having to walk in front, lead the group towards your destination, or you even have to walk right at the back, just listen to their conversation. And every time you try nudging in, it seems like you always get forced out by people moving, just the flow of people on the street. Basically, it's like, surfing against the wave. It's not going to be in your favor. So that's just something, like, maybe someone else has always had this issue. I've always had this issue. It always seems to be when I'm next to 2 other people or more. And, you, like, even nowadays, like, whenever I walk out on the street, everyone's just walking their own different directions. I try to stay on the left. I just try staying on the left. Whenever I go up escalators or anything, you always stay on the left. So naturally, when you walk down the street, you will do the same thing. You always stay on the left. Meanwhile, other people, I don't think they have the same idea. They're like, some people walking from the right, some people walking from the center, So you always got to be constantly dodging people whilst walking on the street. I wish we had like a uniform sort of thing where everyone just keeps to the left of the sidewalk. People who want to go in the opposite direction, they just keep to their left, which will be my right. So I think that needs to be top priority. I already adopted this, would you guess, habit. I always staying to my most extreme left whilst I'm walking on the sidewalk, while I'm walking on the pavement, or just anywhere. But I always find myself still stumbling and bumping into people. Sometimes you're walking down a very thin corridor, and then someone comes out in the opposite direction, you gotta just like stand there and wait for the next move because you don't know if they're gonna go to the right or left. You don't want to bump into them, and guess what? It makes you just look like a fool. I've had that so many instances, like, when you just go to the shopping center bathrooms, they always seem to have shopping centers, right? The corridors that lead to the bathroom always seem to be the most narrowest corridors in human existence. Why did they make it so narrow? You know? And I always keep to the left, but I'm always stuck by some old lady or some old gentleman who's always in front of me. And I'm like, come on. I got places to be. I'm keeping to the left, and they're just like in the center, Like, even if there was enough space for two people in that corridor, which I doubt, they keep to the center. And I'm like, you just have to slowly walk behind them, and then you just hold up the rest of the people behind you. Always seems to be shopping centers. I don't know why. They should just design shopping centers. Just the corridors that lead to the bathrooms to be a little bit wider. I know some of them function as emergency exits, but you gotta think about this sort of thing. The next time I go to shopping center bathroom and I have to walk through those long, narrow, winding corridors, it's just too much, honestly. But that's just my little rant out of the way. As for stuff that happened today, though, I bought a Blu-ray movie, Jackass Forever. And interesting story, I bought this at JB Hi-Fi. This isn't the original case, you'll soon learn why. I bought this movie from JB Hi-Fi, and, like I do with all my movies, I always like shake around the case just to see if the disc is inside, and it was. But I can also hear like some plastic bits rumbling inside, and since it was sealed, I couldn't open it up, so I was like, oh, you know what, I'll just buy it anyway. So I bought it. Then when I got out of the store, I opened up the shrink wrapping, only to discover that the case had a mini crack, which you can't see because, yet again, I replaced the case, but it had a mini crack at the bottom. And when I opened up the movie, I saw that these mini like plastic prongs that keep the disc in the case, well, those were broken. And I'm like, how the hell am I buying a new movie and it's already damaged? Unless it got damaged in shipping or whatever. But like, I eventually, it seems like a very minor mistake, a very minor thing. The case, as long as the disc is in good condition, the case shouldn't really matter. It's just there to protect the disc. But I'm like, just the ethics behind it of buying a movie or a product and it already has a little bit of damage. It's just mildly infuriating. Like, So what I did was I ended up going to CEX and just looking at some of the cheapest Blu-rays they had. So I could buy the cheapest Blu-ray disc, get a good case for it, and then just simply swap out the cases. So I ended up buying like a $3 movie from CEX. I got that $3 movies case, and then I put the cover art and the disc of Jackass in it, and then I threw out the Jackass case, which, means another $3 down the drain, but at least I got a, case that doesn't have a crack in it, and it just annoys me. Like, I remember, a while ago, getting some Blu-rays off Amazon, and these Blu-rays were released by, like, a smaller party, like a smaller third party, and they had, like, mini defects on the case. Now, I'm not sure if that's down to the manufacturer or the publisher who made those movies or released those movies, but at the same time, I think to myself, well, if you're buying something, it should be in like reasonable condition. It shouldn't have like a crack in the case. It shouldn't have, a tear in the cover art, unless it's a factory error. But like, it's just mildly infuriating. I've got like a severe case of OCD. Like, if I want to buy something, I want it to be like perfect as possible, put it on my shelf, never touch it again, sort of thing. But like, I guess that's plays into a little bit of my perfectionism. Yeah, but I haven't watched this movie. I've seen clips of it online, so that's something I'll do tomorrow most probably. And I guess to conclude, because I don't want this video to be too long and for you to hear all my ramblings, but to conclude, the main point, like I said, of this series is just basically me talking to a camera unscripted. If you like that sort of stuff, then I guess you can subscribe, hit the like button for more. And this comes into play of, the goals that I want to set myself when I turn 40. Um, so I'm still right now drafting those goals, but this was just the first one that popped in my head. Make like a video series that I can do for, as long as possible, really. As long as I have something to say, the cameras will always be rolling, even if it's something minor like a crack in the disc case. But no, I hope you enjoyed my mini talk. There's no real theme to this. I guess the video ends. And yeah, that's it. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.